Greetings. My name is Lakshmi S. and my talk is called Social Inequity in Public Transport Infrastructure and its Impact on a City's Sustainability. So, a little bit about myself. I'm trained as an architect and an urbanist, and I'm currently a faculty member at Srishti Institute of Art, Design and Technology, and I teach public space design. So, moving on to the presentation. The United Nations Development Programme has identified gender equality as a sustainable development goal. The text on the UNDP website recognizes the potential of gender equality as an accelerant for sustainable development by stating that it has been proven time and again that empowering women and girls has a multiplier effect and helps to drive economic growth and development. It also recognizes gender equality as a rights issue that can be resolved or addressed by sustainable development and aims to ensure that there is an end to discrimination against women and girls everywhere as a consequence of sustainable development. Sexual violence and exploitation, the unequal division of unpaid care and domestic work, and discrimination in public offices and public spaces all remain huge barriers to this goal. Popular narratives on sustainable development focus predominantly on the latter aspect. The UN Environment Programme blog narrates the story of a young mother from an economically underprivileged household who has to traverse the horrors of threat of sexual harassment, fear of abduction, and long painful walks in the sun on a regular basis. She has to go through this mentally and physically grueling journey almost every day in order to access the public transport facilities from the stop nearest to her home to commute to and back from her place of work. My master's design thesis, submitted to the University of Sheffield in October 2017, followed similar narratives of young women, street vendors, older people, and those with disabilities to elucidate the exclusion that they were subjected to in and around the Chennai Kasturba Nagar MRTS station. The MRTS, or the Mass Rapid Transport System in Chennai, was an intracity rail public transit network started as an ambitious project about 23 years ago. While the train lines are still up and running from day to day, only 25% of the projected number of people use them due to large initial investment of capital, lack of good design, and minimal maintenance efforts. They have turned into vast vacant spaces that exclude a large portion of the society due to the lack of facilities for the disabled, unhygienic public toilets, and lack of safety for women after dark. In order to understand spatial exclusion occurring in a place, it's important to understand and acknowledge the fact that exclusion is not binary. That is, it can occur in varying degrees. For example, restricted access or fear created by space as society, despite being allowed to physically access the space. And this exclusion varies from person to person based on their identity and the space they are in. For example, as Leslie Wiseman writes in her book Discrimination by Design, if the fear of sexual harassment on the streets causes women stress, the fear of rape keeps women off streets at night, away from public parks and dangerous parts of town, and unconsciously afraid of half the human race. The MRT station studied, due to its opaque walls and lack of sufficient lighting, has become a space that inspires fear in women at night. During the night, the design of the station creates dark pockets of spaces within it, making it conducive to criminal activities like sexual harassment. Also, there is a lack of natural surveillance in these spaces because of policies that restrict movement of people within and through them. For example, despite the actual platform being on the first floor of the station, access to the ground floor is also restricted to the users of the platform or those who can buy a ticket into the station. Street vendors aren't allowed to sell or trade on the ground floor. Due to the spaces in the MRTS lacking wheelchair access, and being extremely unfriendly to the disabled or the elderly. It also excludes people with physical disabilities and the elderly. Currently, there's a proposal for the MRTS to be taken over by the Chennai Metro Rail Limited, after which all the MRTS stations would be converted to resemble the current metro stations in Chennai. That is, they would be air conditioned and the cost of the ticket would be escalated to match that of the metro network. Currently, the cost of the MRTS lines range from rupees 5 to 30 rupees per individual per trip. However, the metro ticket prices range from a minimum of 10 rupees to as high as 60 rupees per individual per trip. This move has raised concerns of gentrification of the MRTS network. Popular narratives on gender aspects of public transport, such as the UN Environment article referred to previously, place women and disabled persons as victims of development that aren't inclusive. While the argument that fundamental rights to urban mobility and transport are crucial to design and plan cities, it puts the users it discusses in a disempowered position. This approach also fails to discuss the possibilities, both economic and environmental, that arise when the stations are designed to be inclusive. In my master's thesis, based on the interviews and surveys conducted among about 30 women who use the MRTS stations regularly, only 4 reported to use the MRTS stations on a weekly or a daily basis. However, almost 22 of the women had used for the MRTS stations almost every day or every week, as they had spots along the route of the MRTS station where they could travel to every day. And about half of the women surveyed reported having felt a threat to their safety during their journey through the MRTS and in the stations. Due to subsidized ticket costs, economically, while the MRTS line was favorable to travel, exclusion caused by fear prevents women from traveling through the MRTS line regularly. Thus, gender inclusive design and policies have the potential to increase the number of women using the train by at least threefold. In 2011, the number of women commuting by trains to work in Chennai was only one fourth of the total number of people commuting to work via rail. If the stations were made to be more gender inclusive in design and policy, this will lead to an increase in revenue for the MRTS stations that can facilitate their maintenance and upgradation. With regard to environmental sustainability, this would lead to use of public transport over private modes of transport by women, reducing fuel emissions. With regard to social sustainability, this would also lead to the MRTS lines being used by different sections of the society as opposed to the gentrification that would be caused by the integration of the MRTS and the metro rail network. In stark contrast to the character of exclusion that the proposed conversion would bring, spatial strategies to improve natural surveillance, as suggested by Jane Jacobs, such as opening up of walls on the ground floor, constructive use of spaces on the mezzanine, and policies allowing free movement or vending in the ground floor, can facilitate the creation of safer spaces and bring in revenue for maintenance of the stations. A micro versus macro understanding. While literature on public transport infrastructure and sustainability outlines the need to cluster and concentrate residential zones around lines of public transport or orienting public transport networks to connect various points in the city frequented by women, a micro level understanding of the physicality of this infrastructure can provide an insight into social exclusion posed by the transport infrastructure within its physical boundaries, leading to failures in sustainable development. Studying spatial inequalities can point to gaps in our understanding of spaces and their use. Rather than understanding exclusion and inequality as issues predominantly as outcomes of development, understanding the potential and possibilities of social inclusion in sustainability can incentivize the creation of socially inclusive and environmentally sustainable public infrastructure. Thank you.